Welcome back, everybody. Hey, it's Josh Cline with the Built to Last podcast, and today our guest, Tim Tangney. Floors. How you doing, Tim?
Doing good. Great to see you. Great to be here.
Yeah, man. Excited to have you in. We've been working together for 3 or 4 years now,
right?
Something like that. Yeah. You guys have been our go-to flooring guys for a while. But what got you into the flooring business?
So me personally, I was in construction, and then in 2008, when everybody got hit, we weren't building nearly as many houses. So I actually went to work for Lowe's.
Okay.
And I was the guy at the pro desk.
Where are you?
Yep.
Which store?
Helping out contractors in California.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I felt like, I had a college degree, a little bit too much education to be just tossing concrete bags. So they started a new program called Project Specialist.
Yep.
Where you basically help do remodels, interior and exterior remodels. So I started doing that for about 6 years. And then when we moved out to Tennessee about 10 years ago, I transferred over to the exterior remodels for some other companies and was working for these big corporations, which is great because, the whole process is set, exactly what you're doing every day, but you're also just a number on a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So had the chance to move over to Footprints Floors a few years back and never looked back.
It's funny that, man, we have and we've known each other for a while, but I was the manager over the project specialist here at Lowe's.
Okay.
Right. So this is, 10, 11, 12 years. It's been a while, right, since they launched that program.
Mm-hmm.
So I launched the interior program here in Nashville at the Gallatin Lowe's, and I was the trainer for all the other people that went through and did it. So Sabelli was my project specialist. She was awesome. I would hire her today. Sabelli, if you see this, I would hire her today because she was an amazing project manager. She did a really good job, but I didn't know that about you. That's wild that you had that background. And funny enough, that's where me and Tanya met, right? So we met, she went to work for Lowe's as a manager, assistant manager, and I was the sales manager doing the sales stuff with all the installed sales and all that.
That's how my wife and I met as well.
Really, at Lowe's?
Yep.
That's awesome.
So I was doing interior. When the exterior opened up, I switched to exteriors.
Okay.
The exterior project specialist.
Yep.
She became the assistant for the new interior guy.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was like PSE or PSA. I can't remember.
PSI was the
That's right.
interior. PSE was the exterior.
That's right. That's funny.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So
and
then
we've been married almost 10 years now. So it all worked out.
Me and Tanya met about 10 years ago. That was, so you guys probably met 12, however many years before that. But that's wild. Very similar background. And we were doing it here in Nashville. So, well, cool. So flooring, you got to get a little bit more expertise in, right? With the interior and exterior remodels, there's so many different things,
a lot
right?
Of aspects.
You get to be a generalist in a lot of things, but flooring you get to be an expert in.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you guys do it all, right? Tile, LVP, LVT, whatever they change
LVP,
it to.
LVT, laminate,
yeah.
Engineered wood. We do site finished hardwood, so install, sand, stain, seal, and finish.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything you put on the floor, really on the wall too.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a learning curve. I mean, I'd done throughout, actual doing construction to essentially selling construction. I'd kind of touched on every base of it.
Yeah.
But definitely a little bit of a learning curve, figuring out what you can put where, above grade, below grade.
Yeah.
Different types of substrates, like just a regular wood subfloor or on a slab, that sort of thing. And each type of product has different capabilities for where it can go.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a learning curve on that, but you make that mistake one time
and you figure it out.
You figure it out pretty quick. That's right.
And it's funny you say mistake, and that's how we found Footprints. We made a mistake. I had a guy working for me who was good at a lot of things, and he said, "Josh, I can do tile bath, no problem." All right, well, let's go get it. And he goes do tile bath, and I went out to the job site. Customer called me and said, "Hey, you might want to take a look at this." So I went out to the job site, and he swore up and down he could do a mud bed. So I can do a mud bed all day long. Oh, cool. Go out there. Pour a little water on it. Water went this way. I went that way. I went every way but the drain.
Yep.
And I said, all right, we're not doing tile on this job specifically, and we're going to let the tile experts jump in when we need to let them in. And that's how I met your boss, Josh, originally. Was like, hey, dude, I got a tile job I need you to come out and take care of. So, and you guys have been doing it, a lot of it for us ever since. So, When we talk about tile showers and bathrooms and stuff, what are some of the like popular trends these days? What are you seeing out there?
So large format tile is
Okay.
definitely on the rise. There are some benefits, less grout lines, just kind of an overall cleaner look. With that much weight, especially on walls, you need special mastics and
Sure.
more guys holding them up. So a little bit more expensive,
Yeah.
both on the product and
We're talking like the
installation.
4x8 sheets or
Yeah.
2x4,
Yeah, they
like the
have
real big ones.
3x5. It's basically like half the wall is one tile. And then people are moving away from traditional subway tiles and going vertical.
That was
more
so
stacked
big,
vertical.
especially in East Nashville. Like every house in East Nashville has white subway tile with black grout, I feel
Exactly. And they didn't change it too much. They just rotated it. So now they're just stacking it, going vertical instead of horizontal. Different tiles that look more like reeded woods, almost like bamboo,
Okay.
have become very popular. People are really moving away from those gray tones that were so popular for the last decade.
Yeah.
And they're getting more back into earth tones, more greens and browns and that sort of thing, which I guarantee you 10 years from now,
It's going to be
we're
the
going to
same
be
thing.
we're going to be getting calls like, hey, we want to tear this out and put in
Whatever.
black tile.
Yeah.
We're going back to the 80s, black and gold.
It's funny how those trends work because my house is built in 96. And while I'd like to say that's not that long ago because how old I am now, but when you think about 96 or when I think about it, I'm like, it's not that long ago. But it is. It's 30 years, right?
Yeah.
But my house has, my bathroom has pink Corian shower. So the whole shower, the bathtub, the separate shower, the bathtub, the countertop, all pink and gold. So the whole house was pink and gold. Somebody in 96 thought that was cool.
Like, somebody got a deal on some tile from 92. And
that might be right. It's not even tiles, that Corian stuff, which is just crazy to me that it's, it's half an inch thick. It's heavy as heck. I had to rip it out. It's the only bathroom I haven't done, but I had to rip it out of all my other bathrooms. They had like a white and blue marble wannabe looking one in one of the other baths. It was just so bad. So it's funny to hear you say, yeah, they're going to put green in now, but green's going to be the ugliest thing in 10 or 15 years. And the trend's just up and down, up and down.
And I'm not going to tell a potential customer,
it's ugly, or 10 years down the road, you're going to hate it.
I'll give, little nudges in one direction or the other. I'll tell them if it can be done or if it's something they should do. But as far as colors, have at it. Do what you like.
Yeah, and that's true. At the end of the day, do what you want to do. You're the one living in the home. You're the one who's going to, enjoy this bathroom or kitchen, whatever it is, in the future. And a lot of those bold colors and bold choices look really good when they're done, right? I've seen a few bathrooms that are like almost solid emerald green and then just gold accent fixtures that are just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, and when the day you start and you see that tile stacked up there, it's like, oh, what are we doing here? But once it goes up, it looks pretty good. So
yeah. So besides the large tiles, it's glass seems to be going away. I haven't seen a lot of glass lately.
Not a lot of glass. A lot of the mosaics with glass and stone and metals. You don't see that much anymore. I think it was every big box store just really saturated it, and then you saw it in every backsplash and every accent tile. But it's definitely trending more towards the natural tones.
Yeah.
And of course, glass has a higher probability of breaking over time. So I think people figured that out after having glass tile for about 5 years and needing to do it again.
Have you seen these LED tiles people are putting on backsplash?
Never in person.
Okay. I want to see them in person. I've never seen them in person either, but it's a pretty wild concept to think that they're basically making little TVs that you can put on your kitchen backsplash, and it's fine with water and all that stuff. I saw one the other day and I was like, man, that's really cool. I don't want it, but it's really cool that they can do that.
It's definitely a niche market there.
Yeah. The guy in South Beach, Miami, that's got the condo overlooking the ocean, maybe something like that. So let's talk a little bit about what can be used in bathrooms, right? We know tile is pretty common, but there's more products now than there used to be.
Yeah, so definitely over the last 5 or 6 years, luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile has become more popular because it is waterproof. It is durable. If you drop something on it, it's not going to crack. It doesn't scratch very easily. And if your tub overflows, it's not going to destroy the floor. Your subfloor might have a little bit of issue with it, but as a waterproof material. And then just in the last couple of years, companies like Pergo and the big laminate companies have started producing waterproof laminate, which generally more expensive than a regular laminate or LVP, but it's thicker like wood. So then you have that option of having that wood, more that wood feel underfoot, but still have a waterproof option. Still less expensive than tile. We'll see, it's still newer. So we'll see in, 5-6 years
how long
it lasts. But right now it looks pretty good. So Shaw, Mohawk, some of the major manufacturers are really moving towards that.
Yeah.
And then, so anywhere with a bath, you want to have something waterproof. So tile, waterproof laminate or LVP. Powder rooms where it's just a toilet and sink. I mean,
you can do anything.
You can really do anything. Yeah. A lot of homes, especially when you get into going to like the Belmeads or Green Hills, those areas, they'll have their powder rooms 2 or 3 downstairs, and they'll have that wood floor continuous throughout.
Yeah.
So
you want that clean, consistent look in a lot of those first floor homes too.
Right. And you don't want to have a transition walking into your bathroom where you go from your wood floor to tile or LVP. But in places like a master bath or the full bath off the hallway upstairs, those transitions aren't as unsightly. Yeah. And then you still want to have that waterproof material in there.
So, and the LVP, so there is such a vast difference in quality of LVP. It's crazy to me. So I remember one of the jobs we did, we got down to a certain part of the house, and the guy's like, oh, wait, I want to go this way too. So we had to pull some up, right? Mm-hmm. And we were working on this job, but it's been a while. And you broke every single panel you took out. Like, they just are not removable when you get to a, I guess, cost-effective product. So, I'm sure you've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, and that's one of you can find hardwoods with a big gap in price. I mean, obviously there's different qualities of wood that they're manufactured with, but LVP is the one consistent flooring option where the price really does reflect the quality. Yeah. Because you can buy something for 80 cents a square foot, put it down, it looks fine, but
a month later it's cracking or it's peeling. They can look so bad. Right. Is there brands out there that you've seen that you're like, hey, if you're looking at this, just stay away? Is there anything you're like, just stay away from?
So not specific brands. A lot of manufacturers will have that really cheap line. Okay. But then still have quality products, kind of a good, better, best. But that you can tell the quality of an LVP by the price, unless you're buying it through like an overstock website or even like a Buy Floors Direct, where they're essentially just selling overstock materials. If you go into a Lowe's or a Floor and Decor and something 75 cents a square foot, that's what it's worth.
Okay, so stick away from 75 cents a square foot. What do they need to spend? Like a good quality. What you be spending on LVP?
I mean, once you get into like that $3, $3.50 per square foot range, they're generally a pretty quality product. Okay,
and that comes with some underlayment, right? You don't have to lay on underlayment.
Yeah, there are some specialty designs and that sort of thing where they want you to purchase an underlayment separate. But most will have an underlayment attached. Probably 95% of manufacturers still recommend putting down like a rollout vapor barrier under LVP. Looks like black trash bags, essentially, 6 mil vapor barrier. Yep. So you just roll that out and then go right over it. Anyone considering LVP, the biggest thing you have to keep in mind is how flat your subfloor is. Okay. Because it's a floating floor. Yep. So any little bounce in it eventually is going to start, those little tongues where they lock in together, any bounce in that, they're going to break over time. So even if you got the most expensive LVP and you thought, hey, I can click this together, you got to make sure that your subfloor is flat. I mean, level can be tough, especially in older homes, but you want to make sure it's flat.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it slopes one way or the other, as long as it's flat across to a degree.
Yeah, sure. You don't want it rolling across the floor there, but flat is what we tell people.
And what do you use for that? What kind of products do you use when you need to level a floor to make sure it's flat like that?
Well, generally, I mean, it will depend, it's circumstantial, obviously. But if the subfloor or the slab is solid and in one piece, we'll generally just use a self-leveling concrete. Okay. Yep.
Spread that out, get it nice and thin, thin layer, and then go from there.
Yeah, exactly.
How about if you got, wood subfloor?
If the wood subfloor has any issues and it's sagging, then generally we'll just replace that. A new 3/4 or 1/2 inch or whatever they had originally. 3/4 is kind of standard now.
Yeah.
So we're always pushing for that, but we can essentially cut joist to joist and patch
Piece it in.
subfloor. Yeah. And then anytime we do an installation, we always do subfloor prep where we go through and make sure each piece of plywood is secured properly with screws or nails every 5 inches or whatever the code is. But wood subfloor is actually a little bit easier to remedy issues because you can just cut some out.
Yeah, you're not doing that with concrete. Or with the, I mean, you are, but it's not as fun when you got to cut the slab up.
Yeah, grinding and jackhammers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely doable, but obviously that price starts to creep up there when you're spending days doing that.
Yeah.
That hard labor.
So that brings me to back to Lowe's. So, but one of my jobs when I was the sales manager was to go out and deal with warranty issues, right? So anytime there's a warranty claim on an install, that was one of my responsibilities. I'd go out and I'd look at the house. And we had some crazy ones over the years at Lowe's. So a couple of years I was doing that. But one of the ones that I didn't know back then, it was something I learned, but when you're putting flooring in a home, you have to stay off the walls with certain type of flooring, right? So far. Right. And every manufacturer kind of has that gotten standardized at all? Or is it they still have their own little, you got to be a 1/2 inch off?
Yeah, so it is fairly standardized. Some manufacturers base it off of the run of flooring, especially with manufactured products.
Okay.
Or certain LVPs. Like if you have a 80-foot span, then they want to have a 3/4 inch expansion gap all the way around, which can be tough because then you either have to find a new 3/4 inch baseboard or a 3/4 inch shoe mold to kind of cover that expansion gap. But it's become fairly standardized.
Okay.
1/2 inch to 1/4 inch, depending on the product. But even solid hardwood, you're going to have expansion gaps.
Sure.
But generally, you'll just have baseboards that cover those.
Yeah. I mean, not all people know this, but your house moves.
Right.
It does move. Yeah. It does, expand, contract, and like all the things happen inside the house. It's one of the things I've been dealing with the neighbors. They've been building behind us, and nail pops and that type of stuff just drive me nuts. Well, they started blasting a couple years ago, and I got nail pops everywhere. And I was like, if the house is built, no, it's because it's, the house is moving. Literally, when they blast, the house shakes and it literally moves. So flooring expansion gaps, you got to have that.
And every season. Every winter, it's going to contract, and then every summer, it's going to expand. The National Hardwood Association actually puts a measurement on seasonal gapping, where what's the acceptable amount a plank can actually separate from the plank next to it.
Oh, okay.
Because then in the summertime, it's going to expand again, and that gap is going to close down. So if you get your floors done in the summer, just know you might have a
gap,
a little bit of gap, or vice versa.
Yeah. That's wild.
And warranties, you're going by what these kind of bodies decide is the right amount. So any kind of warranty.
And that's an interesting one, because that can be tough, right? And I remember dealing with the manufacturers of, hey, no, we're within our expansion gap, but we had a failure in a product, right?
Right.
Are there companies like manufacturers out there you're like, hey, these guys are great to work with? If we've ever had a warranty claim, they've backed us up, type thing.
We don't. No,
you're like, we don't have any warranties, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I can tell you that I had a Mohawk one where I had a warranty claim on it, and we had installed it correctly. There was nothing they were done, and they were like, "Yep, 100%. Let's get you some product out there. Let's get it fixed and let it take care of the customer." So
yeah, a lot of it. I've found that a lot of it depends more on your rep than the actual manufacturer.
Sure.
So building relationships with those people obviously is always good.
Yeah.
The more business you send them, I think the more likely your warranty claim is going to be accepted.
Yeah.
But I mean, all products have the potential to fail. Those big name brands have been around for a long time for a reason.
Yeah.
And people don't realize a lot of like the Lowe's and Home Depot products are actually manufactured by Shaw or Mohawk or one of those big companies. And then they just slap that
Lowe's sticker on
Low
it.
sticker on it, exactly. The Project Source or
Yep.
the Life
Don't buy
Proof
the
or whatever
Project
it is.
Source, please.
No, it's their cheapest line. So.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Tim with Footprints Floors, your go-to flooring experts from Middle Tennessee. We specialize in installing and refinishing hardwood, as well as installing pre-finished engineered hardwood, laminate, LVP, and tile. We are certified by the National Wood Floors Association and the National Tile Contractors Association, fully licensed, insured, and bonded, and one of the highest rated installers in Middle Tennessee. Feel free to reach out to us for a free estimate. You can find us at footprintsfloors.com/Nashville or on all social media platforms.
So let's get into hardwood a little bit. There is a lot of variations of hardwood. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff out there. People have done some crazy things. I've seen a Purple Heart room. Somebody did a Purple Heart lumber room, which is insane to think about the cost of something like that. But.
Yeah. So especially with the hearts, a lot of those were old growth, which is pretty limited in the U.S. now.
Sure.
So anytime you're going to purchase a heart, it's generally coming from
South America.
Yeah. I can't remember the country that they really source all that stuff from, but then you're going to be paying, we've got shipping fees and taxes and
importation and all that.
Yep, exactly. In Nashville, most common oaks, red and white oak. A lot of the older homes built like pre-1950, 1960, they would have oak on the main floor and then heart pine on the second floor or in the...
Was that just to save money,
room.
you think?
I think so, yeah. Because at that time, they could just go and chop down the old growth forest and use that cheaper wood, which, pine's a soft wood. But now people wanting to replace that heart pine on their second floor or put that throughout, they're realizing, pine can be cheap, but heart pine is not cheap. Honduras, that's the country a lot of it comes from, Honduran heart pine. But probably 80% of what we see in Nashville is oak. Hickory is popular for the people that are looking for a harder wood that has more character. Yeah. Because with oaks, with any wood, they're going to have, select common number 1, common number 2, and then a character grade, which will be kind of a blend of everything. Okay. But with hickory, you're going to get that character in the select or in the common number 1. So you don't need to go to like a cheaper or a less quality wood to get that with a hickory. Not as many vendors stock hickory in our region just because it's not as common, but still a good option.
How about cost-wise across those?
It really boils down to availability. Okay. So the oaks are going to be generally less expensive because every mill and every lumber place is going to have, X amount
in stock, ready to go.
Right. So you can load up your truck that day and, deliver it that same day. Most of the beeches, the maples, the hickories, they're not going to keep near as much in stock. So then shipping fees and, additional special order costs.
And what we're talking about right now is mostly unfinished product.
Unfinished,
right?
Correct. Yeah. Generally pre-finished hardwood flooring, even solid hardwood, is like a little lower quality, like common number 2 or lower.
I mean, you can tell just by how thick the boards are, right?
Right.
It's quick as that.
Then they sand it down and they stain it and they coat it with an aluminum oxide coating to try to fill those gaps and make it a little bit more durable. But with when you're site finishing wood, you generally want to have that higher quality. Yeah. At least the common number 2. And then then we'd essentially install it. You got to let it acclimate. You can't forget about that.
Sure. Yeah, it's a big one.
There's actually no set timeline. It's based off of the moisture level in the wood. Okay. So you could let something acclimate for 3 weeks, but then it could still have, a 15%.
So do you guys measure that on site?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Before we actually put anything that's going to seal that wood, we use the hydrometer. Okay. And the National Hardwood Floors Association says between 8 and 12% is ideal. And then if it's higher than 12%, 13%, then you got to wait, got to let it acclimate. Figure out where all that moisture is coming from in your home. And then if it is at 8%, between 8 and 12%, you have to make sure that the subfloor or the wood that you're joining to is within 4% of that new wood.
Okay.
So a lot of people think, oh,
Just throw it in there.
7 days acclimation, we're good to go. But it doesn't matter if it's
Yeah.
80% humidity in your house and the wood is still taking on moisture.
And that's like, and your house can contribute to that, right?
Definitely.
So if you don't, our good buddy Jacob, he deals a lot with humidity in houses and those types of things. But if your house is contributing to the moisture in that wood, and it's not going to be dry enough by the time you're hoping to get it put in. But yeah, that's the most common thing we did at Lowe's, right? Everybody, hey, yeah, just let it sit in the house for 3 days, you'll be fine.
Right.
Let it sit in the house for 4 days, you'll be fine. And we see that with our deck out back, right? The pressure treated lumber, we have to let that dry out because it's going to shrink, it's going to crack, it's going to move.
Exactly.
If you don't let that moisture come out. So let's get into engineered a little bit,
Okay.
right? So it's what I have in my house, right? So we had a good amount of square footage to do in the house, and I wanted to do the entire house in one run, which I did, and it took me about a week and a half with one buddy's help. And it's technically a hardwood, the one I bought,
Right.
but it's not really a hardwood.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically a hardwood.
Yeah, come on.
So that top wear layer is hardwood. It is going to be whatever wood, hickory, oak, maple, whatever it is. But engineered wood, so originally they would just basically take like particle board or even like an MDF material and just sandwich it in wood. So it was really cheap. It was a lot cheaper than a solid hardwood, not nearly as durable. But now most companies, the glues they use, it's essentially a plywood in there.
Yep.
But those glues they use to manufacture that actually make it more water resistant. So then you can put it in your basement, on your slab below grade. Still wouldn't recommend it in a full bath, but
Sure.
you could. But the downside to that is now engineered wood isn't cheap anymore. It's creeping up. A lot of products are going to be more expensive than a solid hardwood because it's more versatile. They can make wider planks, a lot of different looks.
And design
stains.
comes a lot into that, right?
Exactly.
The standard hardwood 3-inch, right? 2.5, 3-inch, whatever it is. But
yeah. And most companies will manufacture solid hardwood up to 6 inches, but anything over 5 inches, you need to glue it down. So then that cost is going up again.
Yep.
But engineered hardwood, they can, I've seen 18-inch wide planks.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they were making them that big.
I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, it's going to be a pain in the butt and I'm sure you get a little bit of bend in a plank that wide, but definitely a lot more options.
A lot of flex.
Right.
You got to be, I don't want to say dead ass on your floor.
Right.
To put that thing down.
Exactly. So quality built new construction, great. Make sure that wood's fully acclimated and planks that wide. But it's just more versatile.
Yeah, and you can repair it. It's not like you can do a full sand, though, right? I think there was a misconception at one point that you could sand it down and refinish it.
And there are products out there. So essentially, if that wear layer, that top layer of actual wood is over 1/8 of an inch, then technically you could sand it.
It's terrifying to me, though.
Right.
Because if you go too far, you're screwed.
Exactly. And then you're replacing the floor.
Would you guys even do that?
We require it to be a lot wider or a lot thicker than 1/8 of an inch. If it was we really need this done, we'll generally do a test section in like a small closet or something like that. And there are different sanding techniques. One's an open coat where it's a really fine sand that you go over first to get a majority of that finish off and some of that stain. And then you can just do kind of a 1 or 2 passes with a regular sander.
Okay.
So we'll generally do that with pre-finished products because they have an aluminum oxide coat. So if you just came out with the heavy grit, it would just blend that aluminum oxide down into the wood. And then some of these, 200-year-old homes with original floors, you don't want to just go in and hit it with the heavy grit.
Yeah.
So we'll do the open coat, rustic floors, that sort of thing. So there are ways to refinish engineered products. Just probably 80% of them are not going to.
They're not going to work.
Enough.
And it's not going to look right. And if they go too far, if you have somebody that doesn't know what they're doing and they don't tell you no, if your product is, can't handle it, you can really get yourself into having to buy all new floors.
Exactly, because then you're going to have just that plywood core or that MDF core on there. But another benefit with pre-finished products like engineered hardwood is that if it gets damaged, then you can do patches, do repairs.
Sure. Yep.
As where with a site finished hardwood, you can't really just restain and refinish that small section without it being really noticeable.
Yeah, you're going to see it because, I mean, stuff fades over time, but, you know, the brilliance of it and everything when you first finish it is it's just a different animal.
Exactly. So then you're still going to have a spot where it was just spot finish. So that's not something that we do just because everyone says, oh, we're fine with it. Don't worry about it. You know, we'll be fine. And then you get it done and they're not fine with it. So,
it's very true. We've done a ton of flooring repairs, like little patch repairs and stuff like that. We do them pretty often. And we have a line that says we will get this to the best of our ability and we'll get as close as possible, but it will never match.
Exactly.
It's the same thing with paint. And I wish, and I hope more consumers understand, right? Specifically with paint. Oh, you can just match it. Yeah, you can match it. But it depends on where I go, because every one of those paint machines, and you worked at Lowe's, the colors are different. They can come out of one machine and be completely different if they came out of the other machine. Yep. Depends on how often that paint machine was cleaned.
Exactly.
It's silly as it is.
Yeah, and with wood, the amount of stain that it's going to take depends on, you know, how much moisture is in the wood at that time, the condition in the room. There's a lot of factors more than just like how that stain was made.
Yeah.
So we could do one room stained and then a month later do another room with the exact same wood, exact same stain, and it might look different just because the condition of the wood has changed over that time.
Yep.
So anytime we're doing a repair and refinish, I always tell everyone you want to find a good stopping point where it's not going to be obvious that is slightly different than the other room.
Yeah.
Which has become tough with all these open concept floor plans.
Everybody wants 4,000 square feet straight across.
Right.
No,
until they got
no
repair,
interruptions.
refinish, and then,
that's right.
Then they're doing a whole new floor. But with engineered products, especially pre-finished products, then you do have that option. If you have more of that wood, then you can, patch repair, and then it's going to match.
Yeah.
There's some different glue down and some things that you have to do to kind of get them.
Make it work, because you don't have the tabs and you know the way you have to cut those things out.
Exactly.
I've had to do it at my house.
Yeah.
Right. So just cut the panel out, glue it down, put the new one down, cut the edges off, 45 them all to make them look pretty.
Yeah. And it will maintain warranty on other portions of the floor. You won't void the rest of the warranty for most manufacturers, but at least it's something that's possible.
Yeah.
One other slight potential downside to pre-finished engineered products, they're going to have micro bevels.
Yep.
So you're going to be able to kind of see where each plank is.
Yep.
And some people really don't like that. Some people want that. But compared to a site finished wood, it's just going to be completely flat.
Yeah. And the micro bevels, that's the hardest. Like when I had to patch in at my house, that's the hardest part when you're trying to patch in a piece to cut, to make it line up perfectly and to make it look right.
Right.
And then you end up having to touch that piece up. No matter what you do, you have to touch that piece up in order to make it work.
Yeah.
And to make it right.
Anytime we're doing a repair, say 3 planks in a row were damaged, we're still going to end up taking out
more than that.
6 or 7 planks to try to line that up better.
Yeah.
But I'm a big proponent of engineered products.
Yeah. And I put it in my house, and it was at the time it was cost effective versus hardwood for the size that I was doing, the run that we were doing, and it's been great. My dogs, got nails, they scratched it up a little bit, but for the most part, it's a pretty strong product that we put in there.
And it is technically hardwood, so if you're going to sell the house, you get that return on investment of a hardwood floor. Yeah, and with potentially a lower investment initially.
Yeah, the ROI on it's great, and that's in a whole nother rabbit hole we could go down as the ROI on these things.
Right.
What are some things that people need to know when they're shopping for flooring in general? What are the questions they need to ask themselves? They need to ask professionals, things like that.
The biggest thing is their substrate.
Okay. What's underneath?
Do they have concrete slab? Do they have a crawl space under there? Is it plywood? Is it flat? Because you could spend, tens of thousands of dollars on wood floor, and then the manufacturer doesn't warranty that product's installation on a cement slab, or your floor joists aren't the proper distance apart, that sort of thing. So you want to know what's under it. If it is below ground level, you can never warranty a solid wood product
below ground level.
Yeah, exactly. So just what's underneath, what that subfloor looks like, because if you put the wrong product, there's no one you can go back to, and other than the installer who put it in. And if they're putting something in where it shouldn't go, then they're probably not coming out to.
They're not going to warranty it.
Exactly. They're down to the next town.
And somebody else. That's the big difference with hiring companies like yours. I think obviously Candyman, we have the connotation, right? Chuck in the truck, the guy just runs around and fixes little things all the time, right? But not everybody realizes the level that we get to now in these days, but specifically with flooring, like there's so many problems that could be caused and so much money that could potentially be put out if they don't hire the right persons. And I kept hearing you mention, National Hardwood Association, right? So I know you go through training and classes. So walk me through what that looks like every year and the things that you do to make sure you stay on top.
So after pre-certification, you're identifying wood, learning what can be installed in certain places, what can't be installed in certain places, industry standards as far as installation, that sort of thing. And then every year they like to tweak it a little bit. How far you can run certain products and that sort of thing, pitch on a floor, how level it has to be. So it's constantly evolving. It's worth its weight in gold though, to spend that week in North Carolina or Texas or wherever they're having it that year and seeing what's going on. We do kind of have a little bubble here in Nashville where, a lot of people are doing kind of the same thing.
Sure.
But some products that are really popular here wouldn't even work in Michigan or, Florida.
Okay. A lot of humidity.
Yeah, exactly. So it's great to see kind of what other people in the industry are dealing with and, potential issues that we can have as things change and trends change and that sort of thing. But we are certified by the National Wood Floors Association. And it's just even if you don't use what they're teaching you, it's good to know,
good knowledge overall.
That one time you go into a house and you didn't catch whatever that issue is, then, that cost is going to far outweigh the cost of getting that training and learning those things.
Yeah. So you hire somebody that knows, that goes and gets certified. But beyond that, what should customers ask their flooring professionals before they make a decision, besides just hiring footprints? Right. What should they ask those professionals?
You still want to make sure, obviously, licensed, insured, and bonded.
Yep.
Even, with the prices of things these days, even the cheap LVP isn't a cheap installation.
Sure.
And if they're not licensed or insured, especially, and something goes wrong, then the homeowner's liable for that. You can try to track them down and sue them. I think that's probably the biggest thing is, having that liability. Obviously experience.
Yeah. Get pictures.
Yeah. If a company doesn't have some sort of website or social media footprint, then in today's day and age, then there's something wrong. There's something.
Or if there only is the social media,
right?
I do installs on flooring, and it's just that one post on Facebook Marketplace.
Yep.
And there's nothing else.
Yep.
You might want to stick away a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, some of those guys can be great, but without those backings,
there's just no way to assure that it's going to be a quality installation, or that you'll have that person to call if there is an issue with the installation.
Yeah. And I always say it's the measure of the contractor is not how many jobs they get done on time, right? Every time, perfect every time, right? It's what happens when they have a mistake and what they do.
Exactly.
Right? Because that's the measure of a contractor, in my opinion, is when you make a mistake, what you're going to do to make it right for the customer. So
yeah, I haven't checked for a while. I think that we are the highest rated floor installer in Nashville, but we're not perfect. There's things, unforeseen things, and
you fix them.
Exactly.
Then that's really what it comes down to. You take care of your customers. So Well, great. Is there anything else you think consumers should know when they're shopping for flooring?
I mean, so we talked a little bit about LVP. We talked about solid hardwoods and engineered hardwoods. I would never recommend anyone tear out solid hardwood and put in LVP unless there is a moisture issue or something has come up. You're going to lose that. Homeowners are going to lose that value on their home. You're not going to you're not going to get that value back with the LVP or a waterproof laminate.
And they're doing that because they want to change the color of it or change the look or change the style, right?
Right.
It's not because it's structural or it's a need or anything like that.
I mean, there are some people, I've been doing in-home for 20 years. So I've seen those people with 15, 20 dogs and 30 cats and everything. And those people, get yourself some LVP. But that's the big thing. You want to have a product that is going to be functional, but is also going to maintain the value of your home. You don't want to save a little bit of money on an installation and then lose all that money on the back end. Whether you're going to die in that house or pass it down, it doesn't matter. The wood is going to retain that value.
Yeah. Well, great. Hey, Tim, I really appreciate you coming out today, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Hey, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you need flooring, find Tim at Footprints Floors. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on all the socials. And I look forward to seeing you next week.